I just wanted to thank you all, first of all, for allowing myself and Mrs. Tina Pegler from Learning for Life. My name is Sharon Hill, and you know that by now Learning for Life offers programming in leadership development, career development, and of course character education. And we come in to talk about character education with you guys. We've been doing that for quite a while now, for quite a few months. It's been exciting learning and growing with you, and I hope that you have learned and grown in everything that we've been talking about. This is going to be our final session for the school year, and so we're excited. You know that, I don't know, you may or may not know, but we have our awards banquet and dinner kind of closing out the year coming up in about a week or so, and we're excited about that. But I wanted to just kind of talk and review a little bit, because the topic that I want to talk to you about today kind of sums up a lot of what it is that we've been learning. We've been learning about character. Character. What is character? Anybody? What's character?
Like your personality.
Your personality, absolutely. What else? Who you are. Okay, anyone has anything else to add?
Like your character traits.
Your character traits help to develop and build your character. Your character is who you are, and when you show who you are, it's usually by way of your personality. When we see, say your name, young man? Isaac coming, his personality will say, wow, or his character, you'll be known as someone with a character of someone who has integrity, someone who has courage, someone who is disciplined, someone who's shown perseverance. These are all character traits that we have touched on throughout the school year as we went through the monthly themes. The character traits are traits that you're going to look at, or you should have been looking at and saying, well, what kind of behavior do I have to have or start to work on to develop this character trait? And then one character trait builds on the other, builds on the other. None of us are perfect. I am not perfect. Mr. Schultz is not perfect. But we're all, he said maybe he might be. But we're all working. We're all working to be the best me, you be the best you can be. And that means holding on to those character traits, developing those behaviors that's going to help you to build good character. So I've named some character traits so far. Any other character traits that you can think of that we have talked about, touched on? What else?
Your genes.
Your genes? That has to do with your physical makeup. Okay, we might have talked about that when we made the comparison of when we're building our bodies and we want to be strong. That's building physically. Okay, and then we come to school to enhance and build our reasoning and thinking skills. And so it is with character education. We build our character by learning the different character traits. Yes.
So the way you present yourself, the clothes that you wear, how you talk to people with basically your personality.
Your clothes that you wear, the choices that you make of what you're gonna wear, it could be a reflection of your personality, but your true character, do you think it is the outfit that you wear? Your character, what is it?
Your personality.
It's
The way you act towards people.
the way you act towards people. Thank you. So I could have the cutest hair, the most dynamite outfit, the cutest shoes, drive the nicest car, and just not be of good, strong character. Okay? These are external things. Your character is internal. It's who you are inside that then comes out by the way, as she said, the way you act towards people. people, the way you communicate, the way you engage, the way you work with others. That is your character, okay? And that is what determines your success. It is your character. A lot of people ask me that question. I guess, on a certain level, yes, I would say she is my mom.
Like birth mom?
But she's not my biological mom.
Oh.
Okay? But I love her like a mom. Okay? Okay. So, it's about building those things that you need that is going to make you successful. Yes, you want to have a pleasant presentation of yourself. You want to make sure that you're clean and well kept, and we want to be in the know with what's looking good and what's not. And when we go for a job interview or a college interview or to be in a particular group or environment, you want to present properly. So don't throw out, presenting yourself in the best light because I've said, well, what you wear and the things you have has nothing to do with character. You want to, all of that comes together. If you want to make an impression, you want to make that first impression. You do want to look acceptable and adequate for a particular position. If I'm going to come into the school, let's say, to interview to be an instructor, do you think if I wore my baggy ripped up jeans and some sneakers and let my hair out and just let it go wild and come on in and say, okay, I want to be an instructor, what's the likelihood that they're gonna give me a second chance and say, yeah, come on in for that interview? Yeah. Right. Do that look again? Exactly. So, it all works together. It definitely all works together. But know that the most important thing is going to be your character. They're going to look at your history. And if you're trustworthy, and if you're someone who's disciplined, okay? And if you're someone who has character, and if you're someone who has persevered and gotten all your requirements finished for your degree, all of these things add to whether you're going to be hired for that position, be taken on that athletic team, be admitted to that college. All of that go into your makeup and determines whether you will be successful or not. So today, the word is cooperation. So far in this quarter, we've talked about integrity is another character trait. We've talked about being trustworthy or proving yourself worthy of being trusted, and honesty. We've talked about courage. We've talked about self-control and managing your emotions. And today we're going to talk about cooperation. So when I say the word cooperation, what comes to mind for you? What do you think about when I say cooperation?
Like when you work together?
Working together, yes. What else?
When you're told to do something.
When
you're told to do something, you do it.
When you're told to do something, you do it. Cooperating with. You following instructions. Good. Anything else comes to mind when we say cooperation? Cooperation.
Not arguing?
Not arguing. Getting along with others. Very, very important part of cooperation. Working together. Not arguing or getting along with others. What else comes to mind when I say cooperation? Have you done any group projects?
No.
Yeah.
Yes. No. Yes.
You had the experience of working on a group project. What was that project and what was that like? What did you learn?
Well, we in my group, it was me and one of my two friends. We had to come up with a college that we wanted to go to, and we had to research about it, and do a whole presentation about it and present it in front of the class.
Okay, and how was it? Was it successful?
Yeah.
Why do you think that was successful?
Because when we couldn't decide on something, we went ahead and talked about it and said, okay, well, if we put this, then we can also add this into there. That way that we're all happy with what we're putting into the presentation. And we ended up getting a really good grade for it.
So everybody had a chance to have input into the project, and you worked together, and you related well, and you communicated well. One of the things I want to talk about in terms of cooperation is that communication is very, very important. That's an important character trait to have when you are looking at working together in a group or a team. Helping others is also very important. Interacting with people in a way that helps everyone to succeed. Working together to accomplish that common task or project, getting it done successfully. So I said communication. Communication is a two-way street. It's not only me giving you information or one person giving information. What would be the other side of communication?
Learning something.
Huh?
You learning something.
Learning something, yes, you will learn if the information being given is done effectively. But what would you have to do in order to get that and learn? Listen, that's the second part of it. Okay? So good communication requires that you communicate the information properly, you give the information properly, you are very clear about the communication, you are assertive and not aggressive with the communication. And then the other part is actively listening. So you all could be sitting here and and you're hearing me, right? Absolutely. So listening means that you're actively taking part in receiving the information. That you're taking it in, you're hearing me, you're taking it in, and then you are processing it to then apply it to whatever the project is that you have to do. All right? As a group. So we're still talking about cooperation. Cooperation is also agreeing to compromise. Compromise. What comes to mind when I say that word compromise?
Make a deal.
Yeah, make a deal. That's good.
Something gets thrown away.
Something gets thrown away. Okay, it's compromised, like
Not
destroyed.
proposed.
I know, I'm talking about like taken away.
Okay. Compromise. Anybody else have any input?
Car wreck.
What?
Compromise.
Collision. Collision. What are you talking about?
You said you said
Okay, so this is what happens.
She said that. She said destroyed.
Now, I was just repeating to make sure I heard what I heard. Compromise is when there is a disagreement or a conflict.
Fighting over a toy.
Have you ever had a situation, a group project, or even fighting over a toy? Okay? Cooperation, an example of that would be to share your toy. But let's say you don't want to cooperate and you don't want to share. And you fight over the toy. What would be a solution to that?
No one gets to play with the toy.
Huh?
No one gets to play with the toy.
No one gets the toy?
No, the
Okay.
other person that was not fighting this.
Or take turns.
How can the two of you who are fighting over the toy come up with...
We fight over pencils.
Okay.
Sharing.
Sharing, okay? And that might mean that, you know, I want to have 100% of the time with my toy. I want to play with my toy from 9 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. Woo! And so,
I can do that when it comes to Xbox.
so to compromise and cooperate or agreeing to compromise, that means what? Can only play with my toy from 9 to 1 or 2, and then the other person gets to play with the toy the other set of time. So you're sharing the other amount of hours. So you're sharing the amount of hours that you get to play with the toy. That's one example of compromise. Another example of compromise that you could possibly think of, maybe you've had a situation in this class or in a group project and you had to compromise.
Like sometimes one of us, when we're making the news for the school, one of us could have like an idea what to put in the news, and then another person will like that idea and comes up with a different idea, and then the whole group will have to compromise and choose which idea will be better to put in the news.
Okay, and so you might agree that, all right, maybe for this particular taping, we're gonna go with this concept. And then next week, we'll go with the other concept. So you're still working together and you're coming to a solution that everyone can still work with. Okay, even though there's a conflict or a disagreement. So that's a compromise. And that's very, very important when it comes to cooperation. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I was going to do this one
Okay, yes, sir.
You could flip a coin, you could play rock, paper, scissors, shoot, or you could tell somebody to pick a number and the closest person to it gets the toy.
Okay, so you come up with different ways to deal with the conflict. And that's part of cooperation. You come up with different ways to deal with a conflict. All right? And it might be that, let's say we go back to, do you do group projects in the media class?
And what? Yeah.
Kinda.
Yes, because we have to come up with a script.
You have to come up with a script. And what are the other roles and responsibility? We have someone who has to do the script. What else?
The teleprompter.
We have a teleprompter. What else?
The anchors
No.
of the news.
The anchors. What else?
TriCaster, the cameraman, the sound man, and don't point that camera at me, man.
And what else? So they're like all of these different parts to this group or team.
The director.
The director.
The person who goes out and gets the information of the news.
So there are all these parts. But what if I have the role to be the script writer and I don't even know how to spell? What do you as a team do?
Trade
You
positions.
Don't call out, raise your hand. What do?
You compromise to have another person play the typewriter, and then you have that person that was originally the typewriter do that other person's job.
Absolutely. You always want to work it out so that there's balance. I had a young lady in another school today told me they use the chandelier principle. So you're weak over here, but you're strong over here. You know, so you're still going to use that person in the area that they're strong, and then take the other person and put them in that area. So that foundation is still building, and you still have balance in terms of accomplishing that task. So that is cooperation. It's recognizing that, okay, we're not all perfect. That's what I started out saying, right? But you know, as a group or as a team, you have to work together to accomplish something. Working together to accomplish the task or the project. Recognizing, being honest with yourself, which is a character trait. Integrity, and saying, hey, I can't spell, but I can do real well at holding the camera. Rather than me saying, I can do this, when I know I can't. That would be a lack of integrity. But it is also recognizing the people on your team and their strengths and weaknesses, and instead of throwing them out and going, well, you can't spell, Miss Sharon, you need to go because you can't spell. Find where my strength is and put me in that place and trade off so you have balance so that it can still work. Very, very important. The lessons you are learning in this class, I think TV production is a really, really great way to teach students cooperation, how to work together. you are not going to recognize a lot of the skills and the lessons that you're learning now. You're not even recognizing it right now. But I guarantee you, when you get to high school and college and further, your mind is gonna flash back to lessons such as learning to work with others and balancing out and recognizing, planning things out, organizing, planning out how it is that the whole show is gonna go from start to finish. All of these skills that you are learning in this class and character traits that you're learning to develop is going to go with you for the rest of your life. And you're going to see the good in a class like this. So with that said, anybody has anything else to add? Anything else to add? All right. So I'm going to close out the lesson with, I want each of you to be thinking about the different character traits that I mentioned in the beginning, during the lesson, and prior. There has to be some character trait that has really stuck out to you in the times that Mrs. Pegler, and myself have been coming, that you said, okay, I really want to learn to develop that. What is that character trait? Is it cooperation? Is it responsibility? Is it courage? Is it discipline? Is it any of them that I have not mentioned? What has stuck out to you? If it's one or two, we want to know. We want to know that we are making a difference in students' lives. Okay? So I'm dedicated to that. I'm dedicated, we are dedicated to helping you be the best person you can be. So if but one character trait that comes to mind, we're going to start with this young lady over here, and then we'll just take it around. We'll do the center, and then we'll do the outside. What one thing about developing character and character traits, which one sticks out to you? What have you learned?
That when you're working in a group, just to talk to your group and decide on what best to put in the project. So cooperating.
Cooperation really is a good one for you. Learning to communicate effectively. Listening and giving everyone an opportunity to have input to then making the right decision to how you're going to approach a project. Anything else? What stood out to you so far? Anything about developing character? What is the one thing, one character trait that you would want to work on? Responsibility. Do you remember what responsibility is? Responsibility is doing what is expected of you. So whether it's in the classroom as a student, or at home as a child or a sibling, on the playground with your friends. What is expected of you in that situation? What's expected of you in your classroom? Huh? To do all the works that are assigned to you. So that's an example of responsibility. Is that something that you are striving for? Okay. What is the one thing, or several things, what has stood out to you during this whole character education journey? This is our last session for the year. For real? Yes. Yes. Go ahead. We've talked about a lot. Think about it, I'll come back to you. What has stood out to you from the last time, or the time before that, or the time before that? What has stood out to you?
Think about the cheating on the test that it only hurts. It only hurts when you cheat. And the person you're cheating on.
Don't call out to me. Go ahead. You were saying about cheating and the fact that you're really only hurting yourself. Why is that?
Because your conscience, since you know your conscience might get really guilty and you might feel a lot of pressure.
So then it's affecting your integrity, your sense of, I'm going to stand for what's right no matter what, because you just kind of gave it away when you decided to cheat. Very good. So you've tied in being honest, knowing that cheaters never win and winners never cheat, and also it affects your integrity. Very good. Anybody? Let's go here.
How the first lesson about expressing your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, like, one day you might take in too much and you just might explode.
Okay, so a part of dealing with anger, which is self-control. Okay, but there are other emotions that we also have to know that we are expressing in the appropriate time, the appropriate place, the appropriate way. And one of the ways to deal with anger is to express and be assertive and talk about in a positive way how you're feeling. Yes? So that stood out to you? Awesome. What's the one thing that stood out to you? Compromising with others when you're in a team or a classroom or you're working on a project. It's okay to give and take. Yes? No? Do you have anything? No? Do you have anything? No? Anything?
Not right now.
Okay. Anything? Not right now? Okay, so we're going to wrap up the lesson. I just want to remind you that one of the major things that I've said throughout every week is that it all begins with you. You're the one that decide, and you can decide now and be ready for later, or wait until later and then you won't even be ready for now or later. Wow, that came out differently. I think I actually like that. Okay, so that decision to be the best you is going to come from you. I just want to encourage you all to make the right decision, decide to be the best you can be, and start to work on developing these behavior patterns that is going to give you strong character, give you the character traits that you need to be successful. I also want to encourage the staff and the administration of Lehigh Acres Middle School on behalf of Learning for Life. I want to say thank you so much for having us in your schools. We've had a really, really wonderful time getting to know you this year. And I want to ask you to keep talking to these amazing young people about what it takes to be successful students, successful adults, successful in life. Thank you very much, and I want everyone to wave bye to the camera. See you next year. Bye.
See you next year.
Bye.